Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody's day going? How's everybody's week starting off so far? Shout out to the folks in the chat. I got my man Jason from 161 River Ave with me today. Make sure you all go subscribe to his channel if you're not subscribed already. Make sure you all subscribe to this channel. Make sure you all like the stream. Make sure you all share this out. We're not far. The strike zone is not far off from 2,000 subs. We're about 15 subs away from 2,000. So if there's 15 people out there watching this right now, and if you're not subbed up, hit that sub button. Let's get to that 2,000. Love to hit that this week. That would be amazing. And like I said, when I get to 2,000, I'm gonna do a couple of giveaways as promised. So I do see a few people in the chat. Jonathan, Ken, Brooklyn's in the house. Susan's in the building. What's up, Egyptian? I saw Petruzzi. I saw Katie. Ronnie, what up? What's going on? Railbird's in the building. What's up? So, we're going to do something a little different, kind of take a mini break from the Yankees for now. I know usually we're always talking Yankees and whatnot, but we're going to do something a little different. So, what's up, Cecilia? How's it going? Shout out to LA. We're going to talk something a little different. So there's been a proposed realignment, so to speak, from Rob Manfred. What up, chef? We got the chef in the building. So the proposed alignment of Major League Baseball, are you in favor of it? Are you not in favor of it? I'll pull it up on the screen here for you all to look at. And, I wanted to get everybody's thoughts. I wanted to get your thoughts too, Jason. And again, I appreciate you being on here, bro. How's your day going so far?
Appreciate you having me, man. So far, so good. I mean,
all right.
Kids are back in school and trying to get the new footing. Trying to get our footing back under us.
No doubt.
With the new schedule but looking into this stuff right here, this is fascinating, and I'm really curious to see what folks are thinking about this as well. I really, really am. But thanks for having me today, brother.
Absolutely. But here's the realignment. And, I'm already seeing one comment here saying that a couple of comments saying that the realignment is just not necessary. Railbird is saying just another cash grab, no realignment. Fair enough. I mean, I understand. So they're breaking this down like NFL style, NFL, NHL. So you look at the National League side. NL Midwest, you got the Cubs, Sox, Cardinals, Reds. The NL Central, you got the Rockies, Royals, Rangers, Astros. The NL Southwest, you got the Dodgers, Padres, Angels, and Diamondbacks. The NL Northwest, you have the Mariners, Athletics, Giants, and then it'll be a Portland team. And then you look at the American League side, the AL Northeast, it's the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies, which that is pretty interesting. The AL Mid-Atlantic is going to be the Orioles, Nationals, Pirates, Guardians. AL Great Lakes, you got the Twins, Tigers, Brewers, Blue Jays. AL Southeast, you got the Braves, Marlins, Rays, and then it'll be a Charlotte team. It's an interesting realignment. It's a lot of moving around. It's going to have more divisions now. Again, it's kind of like the NFL. You got the NFC East, AFC East, NFC North, so on and so forth, right? What are your thoughts on the realignment, man? I mean, would you be down for a realignment? If you are down for a realignment, would there be anything you would change, or just kind of leave everything as is? Because if it ain't broke, why fix it? And, what's the purpose of the realignment? Let me get your thoughts here, Jason.
Well, I think initially they want to expand by 2 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first question that comes to my mind is, can you expand without having to do this major realignment? Okay. Why do I say that? Because, well, look at the expansion teams that are being proposed. I mean, you've got Nashville, Portland, Salt Lake City, and maybe even Vancouver, maybe. And to me, Nashville and Salt Lake City make the most sense. And geographically, I'll give you some reasons why. And I wrote that. I took notes on this one because I want to make sure I get it on point here.
Nice.
Well, in Nashville, there's already a stadium plan, and there's an ownership group put forth already. And Don Mattingly's headlining a lot of this initiative to get an expansion team in Nashville. So, but it would put a team in between the Cardinals, the Royals, and the Braves, without having to poach from any of their fan bases. Geographically, it makes sense, right? So, and put a team in the South there. It's a budding, growing city, and I think it makes a lot of sense to have a team in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the West Coast side, Salt Lake City makes sense to me because it basically puts a team between Las Vegas, where the Athletics are going, and the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
And Salt Lake City is also a growing sports city. They just added an NHL franchise, and it provides an opportunity for them to put an MLB team there with a growing fan base, also without having to poach from the Mariners, like Portland would poach from the Mariners, right? And we don't want to poach from some of these other fan bases. So I think geographically, Salt Lake City makes the most sense on the West Coast, whereas Nashville makes the most sense on the South. What's your take on that? What do you think makes the most sense?
So for me, Nashville to me makes a lot of sense, right? Because Nashville, when you talk about a growing city, a city that's growing a lot, Nashville is one of those cities. There's a lot of folks that are moving there. There's a lot of attention to Nashville. There's an attraction to that city. There really is. There's a big tourist attraction. I think baseball would be perfect to have. It wouldn't hurt to have another team in the South. Now, would it be a brand new team, or would you move the Tampa Bay Rays there, right? Because there's been a lot of discussion about the Tampa Bay Rays and what their future looks like. I mean, I don't know at this point. I mean, their stadium is beat. Their stadium is dead right now. They're at George M. Steinbrenner Field. So would they move? What do you think of like moving a team like the Rays to Tennessee? That kind of crossed my mind at one point. Or would you just create a new team? Salt Lake City, that's another one, right? Utah, that's another growing state. Salt Lake City is another growing state. It's got a pretty decent fan base, like you said. They have a hockey team. They just added. They also have the basketball team, right? They have their NBA team. They are missing. They don't have a professional football team, but they do. Baseball would make sense over there, man. Especially when you have a state like Utah right next door to Colorado. It would make sense to add a team to the National League side. I wouldn't mind that. Portland, to me, I've spoken to people in Portland or from Portland or from Oregon. Oregon is not really, yes, they do have a NBA team, but they're not really like a professional sports state.
It's more of a running community.
It's what?
More of a running community over there.
Yeah, that state is very, they're not really into the professional sports out there. That is like college. It's all college level. Like that is what they're into in Oregon. Oregon doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me personally. But places like Nashville totally makes sense. I know people have talked about Charlotte, in North Carolina. That would make a lot of sense too, honestly. I think because you do have a lot of baseball fans in the South. It wouldn't, and North Carolina right there by it's close to Georgia, so I don't think it would hurt to have a team there. I mean, there's options for sure. And okay, so the Rays do have a new stadium deal in play. The Trop is supposed to be ready by next season. All right. So,
apparently so, right?
Yeah, that's what Ken was saying.
To your point too. I mean, I would consider moving the Rays, but I do think, this has been in the works for like a decade. They want to add two teams because it's going to bring more revenue to the game, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
An expanded playoffs, meaning it's going to be more playoff revenue. And obviously with more revenue is going to mean a lot more spending. That's exactly what the Scott Borases of the world want. right?
Uh-huh.
The union wants. So it's going to go right into their coffers, right? But that being said, I think something has to be made in the CBA so that the teams that actually spend aren't penalized. That teams that don't spend should be held to account. And you mentioned Tampa Bay too. If you look at the AL Northeast geographically, based on this proposal, it's the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, and the Phillies. Right. So number one, the Yankees would not have to travel down to Florida to play in the division anymore. Okay,
True.
so it would help with the travel, but also the Tampa Bay Rays don't have to travel up to Toronto either.
They wouldn't have to travel as often.
As often, exactly. So because into the division games, and again, also what I don't really have clarity on yet is, are you going to be playing the teams within your division more often than you are? Like the Yankees play the Mets 6 times a year already. Do I really want to see them play them 12 times? Not really.
Personally, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll cut down on the travel.
Yeah.
For all these teams, but at the same time, the biggest beneficiary here is the Toronto Blue Jays because they're out of the division. They don't have to face these teams.
Right.
Look at the division that they would be proposed in here. It's the who do they have here? Let me take a look at the Blue Jays.
I got you.
The Brewers, the Tigers, and the Twins.
Yeah.
They're going to feast on most of that division. So they're going to be the biggest beneficiary, probably the happiest team with this realignment, in my opinion, because they'll be out of that, not having to face the Yankees, the Phillies, the Mets, the Red Sox on a regular basis. So even though they've been playing well against the Yankees recently, the Yankees also would not have to face the Blue Jays either in division as much as much they awfully would. But I do think in terms of travel too, the East Coast teams, because I think they're factoring in TV ratings here too. TV ratings on the West Coast are not the same as they are on the East Coast. The ratings are much higher on the East Coast because there's more prime time watchable hours, right? So the teams from the East Coast are not going to have to travel out west as often. When you speak about NFL, does anybody watch NFL games at 10 o'clock at night? Did any of them start at 10 o'clock at night? No, never.
No.
Right? So baseball games do. I mean, at least for me, I don't do post games at 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to sleep. So, right? Yeah. So in that regard, I like that. And based on this, they would be traveling out west every other year or half the amount of time. So, okay. That geographically that makes sense too. But at the same time, I also want to kind of protect, and this is the traditionalist in me, the old school in me, I want to protect some of the rivalries, like the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, right? Cubs-Cardinals, Dodgers-Padres, Dodgers-Giants. Like those are like some of the historic rivalries in baseball. I want to continue to pay homage to those as well within these realignments, and I don't want to dilute their abilities to play each other. So, that's one of the things that was most noticeable to me. What caught your eye on this from the stuff? And fans, people caught your eyes as well.
Some of the like with the realignment, like first off, like real quick, I wanted to say I'm not necessarily a fan of the realignment. I mean, I think I would leave it as is personally, right? And just add the 2 teams to whatever division. That's personally what I would do. Now with this realignment, it does, like, there's some of these divisions, right? Let's just say the realignment was a thing. So for some of these divisions, it would be extremely competitive. I think it would be really competitive. Then for other divisions, it wouldn't be as competitive. I think certain teams would feast. I don't like the Yankees and Mets being in the same division because then I'm not going to get excited. To me, I'd rather these guys play each other twice a year on a 3-game set, 6 times a year, right? Than having them meet 9 or 12 times a year. It's just like there's no excitement to it whatsoever. For me, I think it defeats the purpose of a Subway Series.
And that division for me would be a bloodbath.
Yeah. I just wouldn't be. I'm not a fan of that. And like I'm looking at the NL Southwest. You got the Dodgers, Padres, Angels, Diamondbacks. I mean, I understand. Okay, so having the Dodgers and you add the Angels there. to the Southwest. I mean, the Diamondbacks, Padres, and the Dodgers already played together anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that there would be much competition, because I feel like between LA and the Padres, man, it's like they would just feast on the Angels and Diamondbacks.
And to your point,
there.
If I can add to your point too, you can have it in division like the AL Northeast. And I'm going to keep going back to this division because Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, and Phillies. You could have teams in this division miss the playoffs and win more games than division winners from the other divisions. And that, to me, is where I think disconnect, at least for me, it is. Right? I don't want teams that win 90-plus games in this division sitting while teams that win 80-something games in other divisions are going to the postseason. Right? If that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, and this is to me, that's they weighted this division. It almost looks like intentionally so one of these teams or two of these teams missed the postseason. And these are the biggest market teams with the loudest fan bases. These are the teams I want to have in the postseason, right? The biggest markets, the biggest audiences, right? Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, and Phillies. There's a couple other fan bases too, but this is what's going to generate a lot of the ratings. So leaving these teams out of the postseason in favor of whatever, the Salt Lake City Utes or the Nashville Cream Pies, whatever you call them, right? Is going to have a little bit of a disconnect to me. I want to see the Yankees play the Salt Lake City team. I want to see the Yankees play the Nashville team or whatever the expansion teams are. But at the same time, I don't want the Phillies and the Yankees to miss the postseason so that teams with less wins from the other divisions can make the postseason. Right? This is where I'm a little disconnected from this particular proposal. I understand the geographic. You want to less travel, which can help with injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have more star players not injured and playing, which is good. That's going to increase ratings, and you want to see your favorite players play. I get it, but does this hurt? I think that hurts one division more than it helps a lot of others. And the AL Northeast, I think, that's going to be a tough division.
That would be. I mean, that would be the toughest division in all of baseball, right? I mean,
it's close.
Yeah, it'd be pretty freaking close, but because Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies, like that would be. And we always say that the AL East is already it's always very competitive. This would even make it more competitive. But again, I like the idea, but I like the idea of the Mets and Phillies being on the NL side. Like let them battle it out on their side, and don't even mix them up with the Yankees and the Red Sox, man. It's just because if one of those teams, right, if one of those teams didn't make it, I think it would personally. I think it would hurt ratings. I think it would, because like, okay, Yankees make it, but the Red Sox didn't. All right, or if both New York teams made it, right, and if both Yankees and Mets make it, it might actually hurt ratings. I mean, I don't think people would still tune in, but if the Red Sox and Phillies are not in it, can you imagine that?
What I mean, one of the world teams with the lowest rating was Diamondbacks versus Texas Rangers a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because nobody expected those two teams to go to the World Series, and I mean, it was cool for me as a fan. It was cool because it was just like, whoa, two teams that I didn't expect, and the Rangers ended up winning that series and that World Series, and I sure as hell didn't expect it. But from a fan base, as a fan, it was cool to see, because it was just like, all right, well, I guess the impossible is possible. You know what I mean? Like, I guess anything is possible. But but you look at any of these, but the AL Northeast, right? I know we're kind of going back to it, right? If like, let's say it's the Yankees or the Mets, right? If the Mets finish at the top of the division, or the Yankees finish at the top of the division, or let's just say the Red Sox even finish at the top of the division, and the Mets don't make it and the Yankees don't, or the Mets make it and the Yankees don't, that's gonna hurt. That'll definitely hurt ratings. I don't think that's. It'll bring in revenue, right? I'm sure Major League Baseball will still make money, but I think viewership will be down. And right now, viewership, I feel like in baseball right now is not. They're saying that it's been kind of trending down a little bit right now. So, right, or am I wrong on this? But
No, you're not wrong. And if you don't mind putting that chart back up again,
sure, yeah, hold on.
brackets. Look at the bracket right below the AL Northeast, right, which is the AL Mid Atlantic. Okay, you've got who? The Orioles. You got the Nationals, the Pirates, and the Cleveland Guardians.
Right.
Do you really want two teams from the AL Northeast missing the postseason so that somebody from the Pirates can win the division, or the Nationals the Orioles can win the division, like with 20 less games won?
Yeah, well, to quote Derek Lewis in a post-fight interview, hell no. So,
Yeah.
it'd be a hell no, man, because, yeah, I mean, yeah, Mid-Atlantic, sure, it would be competitive, but, if like you said, right, like the Yankees and Mets are two of the teams in the Northeast miss out, and you get one of these other teams from the Mid-Atlantic or even the Great Lakes, if one of those teams made it and none of the big teams, the AL Northeast, didn't make it, I don't think a lot of people would tune in as much.
It'd be crazy. And if you go to the bottom, AL Southeast, the Braves, the Marlins, the Rays, and let's just say it's the Nashville team. The Braves are going to be the biggest beneficiary there because they don't have to face the Phillies and the Mets that often.
Right.
So this leaves the division wide open for the A's. And if you go to, let's just say, the NL Northwest, get the Mariners, the A's, or the Giants, and let's just say the Salt Lake City. This leaves it, to me, wide open for the Giants or the Mariners, probably. More likely the Mariners at this point. NL Southwest, probably still the Dodgers. NL Tigers are there.
But the Padres are making a run right now. They're, if we're talking like right now, the Padres, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're still in first place in the NL West. So I mean, the Padres would be are competing, and that Southwest would only be the Angels and Padres, or not Angels and Padres, Dodgers and Padres that would really be competing. The Angels and Diamondbacks, I think, would probably get dominated. But the Diamondbacks actually have potential. They just got hit with a lot of injuries.
Yeah,
and one of the Angels would just they would get massacred.
Well,
honestly, in this division.
They would go from an AL division that they have no chance in winning to an NL division that they have no chance in winning. So they would be screwed no matter what. So
yeah,
and that's I would feel terrible for the Angels.
Yeah, and you talked about the Southeast, right? If this was the realignment right here, there would be no competition. There would literally be no competition. Like the Braves would just absolutely, again, if they're a healthy team, they would absolutely dominate the Marlins. But also you got to look out for the Marlins because they're kind of coming around. They got a young, dynamic team, but you also got the Rays. Rays could potentially have a good team, but it's just they trade away a lot of their guys. They're good at developing players, but a healthy Braves team with a perfect team, I think they would feast in the Southeast. There would be no competitiveness. Like they're making it. If any division, and maybe I'm being biased here. If there's any division that's going to be the hardest and it's going to be the most frustrating, it's the Northeast, the AL Northeast, in my opinion.
And if you look at it, okay, let's just say first place team from each division goes to the postseason. That's 8 teams in the playoffs, right? 25% of baseball, right in line. But you could have a team in the AL Northeast win 95 games and be out of the playoffs because the Atlanta Braves won 84 games. And they're also in the AL. They're in the same league as the Yankees or the Phillies and the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is where this is the part that I worry about with the realignment, at least. Like I understand wanting to expand, but can you expand without realigning? I don't know. I understand they want to make it geographically more symmetrical for teams. I get that, but I think some of the teams are going to get hosed out of this, unfortunately. And I have a feeling some big market teams will not be in the postseason.
And that's what I'm afraid of. And yeah, you mentioned some of the big market teams. I know this gives an opportunity to the smaller market teams. maybe from Major League Baseball's perspective, they're trying to grow the fan base for those smaller market teams.
Mm-hmm.
That I understand, but I think ownership has to also step up for these smaller market teams if they're trying to compete. Because if these teams are not, if the ownership is not spending money, and you're like you mentioned earlier in the show that the owners that are spending money, they're the ones who are getting penalized. That's not fair.
And do you really want to have playoffs with small market teams that don't spend? Which is why I think in the next CBA, salary floor should be discussed.
Sure.
These teams should be spending a minimum amount of money to invest in their product, invest in their teams. And if you're going to continue to bring expansion teams, are you just going to add 2 non-spending teams?
Yeah, I like it wouldn't be right, because if a team like the Yankees, and because they're right now their payroll is what, $300 million, right?
Yep.
If a team like that didn't make it to the postseason, well, first off, I mean, just to mention this, like there would be an outrage from the fans, like, oh, the team didn't make it to $300 million, but the rating, the viewership would be down. Honestly, like it would be totally down.
You're replacing the Orioles with the Phillies in the AL Northeast,
right?
Makes it harder for teams like the Yankees.
Like, if you like, let's just say if this realignment was to happen. I mean, I don't know if this will move. This was proposed, so this isn't a thing yet, right? It's just been proposed. It's nothing is official, but I would I would move the Mets out of the Northeast, and perhaps you switch them out. You could switch them out with the Orioles. Just keep the Orioles there, and then you could have a Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, Phillies. I just don't. I think the Mets just put them in the Mid Atlantic, and then switch out. I would say switch out the Phil. I mean, probably switch out the Phillies too. But then you would have Phillies and Pittsburgh in the same division, so that kind of, I don't know. This is a tough proposal, man.
It is. I mean, I would swap out the Mets with either the Orioles or even a team like the Nationals.
Yeah, that's you know what, I thought about that. I said the Nationals, but I was thinking Orioles, man. I was Orioles just make more sense to me, man, because the Yankees and Orioles have played together. But I would also move the Phillies out of there too. And perhaps you could, perhaps you could add move the Phillies to the mid Atlantic, or actually move them to the NL side.
Mm-hmm.
I would honestly add them to, move them to the NL side and just get one of the. I mean, who would you replace them with is the question. I mean, that's the complicated part.
It's crazy because you have American League, teams cornering one half of the country and the National League cornering the other half of the country.
Yeah.
There's really not much crisscrossing going on. If you look at it, Northeast, right? I'm here, Mid-Atlantic right below it, still on the East Coast. Great Lakes, kind of trending west, but in the middle. And then Southeast going downward. All the West Coast is in the National League. Northwest, all National League.
Yeah.
So, even in the Central. So, it's basically, you're geographically separating the 2 leagues. One side East, one side West. If you really look at the basic, almost like partition down the middle. If you look at a U.S. map.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was trying to when I was looking at the proposal, I was trying to move teams around and trying to make it to where it made a little bit more sense, where I didn't want certain teams being in the same division together. But it's not easy. Like with this, it is not easy, man. It's like, this is I don't like the proposal, and I tried moving teams around to see what would work better in my eyes, but this is very, very complicated.
It is. I understand wanting to minimize travel. I get that, right?
Yeah.
Most of the teams west out west, keeps most teams east out. I get that, but I want to see the Dodgers come to Yankee Stadium and play the Yankees on occasion, even if it's every other year. Fine. I want to see the Yankees go out there and play the Giants, right? I want to see that type of stuff, and I think a lot of fans do too. And again, I understand going to the West Coast and playing games that start at 10 o'clock that's tough for people on the East Coast. I get that.
No doubt.
And But you're also, I don't want to deprive teams out west the opportunity to come out east and play primetime hours either, and get primetime exposure for playing the East Coast teams too. So this is where I think this is a decent work in progress. And this, it has been in the works for about a decade. So, but I do think this might be a step in the next direction. But I do think, at least to me, it leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of the layout here.
If they're truly, if they're really wanting a realignment, I think they're going to have to change some things around because I get the travel purposes, like you mentioned, but realistically speaking, if some of these teams are not in it, and especially when you have the Northeast, man. I know we keep going back to it, but it's three big teams here, like Yankees, Mets, Phillies, or all four teams are big. If one of those teams didn't make it, man, all hell would break loose. It would imagine. I don't like. I don't like that at all. It would be a feasting for Toronto. In that division, Mid Atlantic would be very competitive. That would be a competitive division. Yeah. The Southeast, I think, the Braves, a healthy Braves team would feast. The Northwest, that would be actually pretty interesting. That would actually be competitive.
Between the Giants and the Mariners, probably, and now Southwest, probably the Dodgers and the Padres, right?
Yeah, the Dodgers and Padres, it would be it would be a slugfest between those two, but they would also, I think they would dominate the Angels and the Diamondbacks. Of course, if the Diamondbacks were a healthy team, they could be very competitive. NL Central, Astros honestly would feast.
Yeah, I think Kansas City has a shot to be competitive. Texas, but Astros, I think, have a clearer path to win that division. I think regularly. And in the Midwest, I think that one's a little bit less wide open, but you still have the Cardinals, you have the White Sox, the Cubs, and the Reds. So it's a pretty fairly competitive division. But at the same time, I don't think you're going to have any teams there winning 100+ games.
Well, it's funny too because it's like you have look, if you notice, you have the Yankees and Mets in the same division. The Marlins and Rays, right? They're in the same state. You got the Athletics and Giants, LA and San Diego, and the Angels, and then Texas and Houston. Well, Texas and Houston's fine because they're already in the same division as it is. Yeah. But then now you got the Cubs and the Sox. The Phillies and Pirates are not in the same division. Both teams are in Pennsylvania. Why aren't they in the same division?
Yeah, with the rivalry. Yeah.
Yeah. So that part, I don't understand that part. And as the Sox and Cubs, honestly, I wonder how Chicago fans would feel about that. Because would Chicago fans rather see these guys play each other, less, or would they rather see the series, the Chicago showdown? I don't know what they call it there in Chicago, but I wonder how they would feel about the Sox and Cubs being in the same division, because that wouldn't bring a lot of excitement if I was to guess.
And how often would you play your teams too? Obviously you would play more games in division because you'd be playing less games traveling across the other side of the country. So you'd be adding games in division, obviously. So the White Sox will play the Cubs more, and the Yankees will play the Mets more, and so on.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they broke down that at some point, we'd get a better understanding of how often would you play teams within your either cross town or within your indirect, division here too. Would it be because Yankees play the Phillies 6 times now? Do I want to see them play them 12 times? I don't know. Mets, I don't want to see the Mets 12 times.
I don't either. It takes the excitement away. It really does. And Ken's comment from earlier, he made a mention of if this is the proposed realignment, or if this is the realignment, get rid of the interleague play then, if that's the case.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I would totally be down with. I like interleague play. I enjoy interleague play because it gives it gives us an opportunity as fans to see what other fans from the National League side, what they're like. But then, yeah, take away interleague play if that's going to be the case. And, Ken's also adding here, Chicago's very similar to New York. It would dumb down the South Side versus North Side rivalry. And I think that's what it is, South Side versus North Side, because South Side is the White Sox, North Side is the Cubs. But, I don't – it would probably take excitement away from that division kind of between both fan bases, kind of like the Yankees and Mets.
And if I can add to your point too, like in each division here also, you would have teams from the AL now and the NL kind of merging. So you'd have two different styles of play in every single division in baseball. So that could bring some more excitement to the game, some more variety to the game. I get it. But I do think there's still some left to be desired here. And I do think the salary floor needs to be added as a component to this in order to make it fair for some of the big market teams that spend and stuff like that. I think that needs to. And I think getting rid of I'd still hope they get rid of the ghost runner in the regular season. I hope they get rid of the qualifying offer thing, having to forfeit draft picks and international money when you sign a player that's attached to a qualifying offer. I think those little pieces would make something like this more tolerable.
Yeah, I hate to say it though. I mean, I don't think they're going to get rid of the ghost runner rule.
I agree. I don't think they.
Yeah, I hate to say that, but it'd be ideal. Like, I hate the ghost runner rule, and it's not because it's not even because of like, oh well, the Yankees suck, and that's not what it is. It's just I don't like the ghost runner rule. I just think let the game be played regularly, man. Like, why are we adding this ghost runner? I understand we're trying to shorten the game and all, but
well, it's the same thing. Like, and you get somebody that comes in right in the extra innings, a good reliever, and he gets 2 fly balls, right? Tag up the third, tag up the home. He just gave up a run.
Yeah,
not even having to put the guy on base, and he can get the loss just for that, right? And that to me puts those pitchers like that at a disadvantage. And while I understand the logic behind it, I think it puts relievers at a disadvantage, especially when they have to face a minimum of 3 batters.
Yeah.
So,
that's not. Yeah.
I think that's not a good thing strategically in baseball.
Absolutely.
And to Jonathan's point too, I think he's right. Some of the divisions are too competitive and some not competitive enough. Exactly. This is where I think there needs to be a little bit more balance if they're going to do a realignment.
Yeah, because some of these divisions, because from a competitive standpoint, I would probably. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect the teams or disrespect the fans, but with some of these divisions and some of the games, I probably would be bored, man. I'm going to be honest. I probably would fall asleep in some of these games when these teams play each other. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect. I love baseball, but I just think that some of the teams that play each other in these in this proposed realignment, I don't think it would bring much excitement. Honestly, I probably would be like, all right, you know what? I'm bored. I need to change the channel, sort of thing. It's kind of like having 2 0-16 teams on Monday Night Football. Think about it. Like, that's how I think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but I want to bring up a couple of comments because, like, Wink the Man proposed like a couple of, how he would put the AL and the NL.
Okay.
So here's his idea for, looks like American League side. He would go AL East. He would go Yankees, Baltimore, Boston, Toronto. AL North would be Minnesota, White Sox, Cleveland, Detroit. AL South would be KC, Colorado, Texas, Houston. AL West would be Angels, Las Vegas. So that would be the Athletics, Seattle, Portland.
Okay.
That's not bad, actually. I actually kind of dig that. And then if you go over to the National League side, he says the NL East would be the Mets, Phillies, Pittsburgh, Washington. And then the North side, you'd have Milwaukee, Chicago, Cincinnati, St. Louis. NL South would be, Nashville, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Miami. And then the NL West would be the Dodgers, San Fran, San Diego, Arizona. So the NL West would essentially be the same thing, except the Rockies are not there. So the Rockies would be on the, I think it was, did he put, yeah, he put the Rockies on the AL side. Okay. Which AL South kind of makes sense because KC, Colorado, they're next door to each, they're neighbors. And then, obviously the Texas teams, it's not far away.
Right.
What do you think of that?
Where's the NL again? Okay.
NL here. I'll pull it up.
Nashville, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Miami.
I got it. Right,
geographically, it probably makes them more sense than what's currently put forth out by MLB. I like these brackets. I like your brackets, Wink, better than the one that's been proposed by Rob Manfred or whoever proposed these.
Yeah, I supposedly it was Rob Manfred, but I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, you want to talk about geographic? I mean, geographically speaking, I mean, I understand the proposal here from Major League Baseball. I get it, but this, geographically speaking, this isn't too bad.
No,
I don't think it's bad for both sides. Honestly, for what Wink put out here, I think Wink should put his name in the hat for Major League Baseball, man.
Yeah, man. We're gonna need somebody to replace Manfred next year, so he's not one. Yeah.
Cecilia is saying you're both afraid of ghosts. Good to know. It's not about being afraid of ghosts. I just don't like the Ghost Runner. Cecilia. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he's also saying, how about this? 10th through 11th, no Ghost Runner. 12th through 13th, runner on first. 14th through 15th, runner on second. 16th and on, runner on third. I mean, I suppose if you're going to have the Ghost Runner, if it's not going away, sure. I think folks have proposed something similar to this in the past, where it's like, for example, if you get to the 12th inning, then it's time to add a Ghost Runner. Because at that point, the game is just like really taking long. Then sure, you might want to add the Ghost Runner.
I have a feeling they would probably be more amenable to a more gradual phasing out of the Ghost Runner. Meaning, like in the 10th and 11th, runner at first base. 12th beyond, runner at second base. Because how often do games go 12th and 13th inning? Hardly ever.
Very rare now.
Yeah,
very rare. Honestly, man, I think.
I guess they want to keep it within the framing in which the games are played in the extra innings. So my guess is they would. It's just a guess. They might be more willing to do a Ghost Runner first in the 10th and the 11th, and a Ghost Runner second beyond that. But I could be dead wrong on that also. Yeah,
I mean, Ghost Runner on first. To me, that would probably make a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
I'm just having a hard time with the whole Ghost Runner thing. I've been having a hard time with it ever since it's been implemented. At first, it was cool, but then later on, as I kept watching, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about this Ghost Runner rule thing, man. It's just like, what's next? Like, if we get into extra innings, you're gonna start a 1-1 count. I mean, is that what we're gonna do next? Like, the count is 1-1, just to speed things up. And yeah, exactly, Ken. I mean, the Ghost Runner isn't utilized in the postseason. Why is it used during the regular season?
Exactly.
So it's like if you're not using it, that's the other thing. Yeah, I wouldn't be down with that. And why would a realignment be done by a lame duck commissioner, Ken says, and not wait until Epstein takes office? I think Theo Epstein's probably going to be the next guy that's going to probably take over.
One of the bright minds in baseball.
Commissioner duties. I mean, he's he's got some accomplishments there in Major League Baseball for sure. He's had success as a GM, so he's done pretty well. And
he reversed the curse on the Red Sox and the Cubs. So.
Yeah, he did it, that man.
Dude's got legend status now.
Yeah.
He's got his button. He's a made man now. So, yeah.
Or would Manfred pull a fast one, make the mini home run derby from the All-Star game a regular game thing? It better not be a regular game thing. Hell no.
Please.
That would be terrible. Yeah, at home they're the best team in baseball with the Ghost Runner, but they're the worst on the road when it comes to the Yankees. That is mind-boggling that a team like a Yankees are the best at home, but they're the worst on the road when it comes to the Ghost Runner. That is very interesting to me. But yeah, really, man. I mean, but getting back to the realignment though, it could be done differently. It could be done differently with this proposed one. I'm just like I'm trying to like for the last week I was like looking at it. I was trying to figure out, can I get behind this? Can I get behind the realignment? Can I get behind these how these teams are set up now? The answer is no, man. I really cannot get behind it. I was trying to find a reason to like it, but I don't have any reason, man.
I think we would want to realign the realignment.
Oh, 100%. Because, like I said, man, I don't want to see the Yankees and Mets in this. I don't want to see the Yankees, Mets, and Red Sox in the same division along with the Phillies. I hate that.
It's a bloodbath division. A bloodbath division.
Yeah, it would be fun, but not so fun. I don't want the Yankees and Mets. Mets should be separate from the Yankees. Period. Those two teams need to be separate.
Agreed.
What's up, D's channel? And yeah, and real quick, folks, just a quick break. So shout out to all of you hanging out this morning. I know a lot of you are probably working right now, but if you are tuning in, I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you all hit the like, hit that sub, and keep sharing this channel out. And make sure you all go check out 161 River Ave with Jason. Does a really good job on his channel, so would greatly appreciate it. But now, if they're serious about a realignment, they need to come out with a different proposal because this just ain't it.
I think this will be a step in the next in the process. I think they'll modify this at some point, and I do think. I mean, we are still over a year away from the CBA, so I do think this will probably be one of the things they're going to be most aggressive about next year. But I think the first order of business is probably going to get two expansion teams in here. Because that has to happen in order for this realignment to happen. So, with an even amount of teams in each division, so they're going to need to expand to two teams to baseball. So,
yeah, and you said that they were built. Did you say that they were building a stadium in Tennessee, right?
There's a stadium plan already in place in Tennessee. It's not being built yet, but there's a plan in place. There's a blueprint that's already been approved. There's also an ownership group already formulated. And Don Mattingly was one of the people who kind of has been spearheading this project to help get an expansion team in Nashville, Tennessee. So they have momentum more than anywhere else. So I do think that would probably be the South expansion team, because for those reasons. West Coast, I don't know. It could be Portland. It could be Salt Lake City. And I think Salt Lake City makes the most sense.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, Salt Lake City does make a lot of sense to me. I don't think. See, again, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, Portland doesn't really make a lot of sense. I know they have their NBA team, I get it, but they don't have a lot of professional sports teams. They don't. It's only the Blazers, the Trailblazers. Yeah. But the other, they're more of a college town, like the college state, should I say?
University of Oregon,
yeah. They're all about. Yeah, they got the Beavers there too, and I think I think Salt Lake City would probably make the more sense if they're trying to get a team in the West, another team on the West Coast for sure. Nashville makes perfect sense. That's a growing city. It brings there's a lot of traction there. Or else, you could say North Carolina potentially. But I think Tennessee just makes more sense.
I think that would be the one that would be less likely to poach from other cities' fan bases. I think when you look at the geographics, like North Carolina is like right there with Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
not that far from it. So you'd be poaching from the Braves fan base. I think the Braves would probably show some hostility to that. I think Nashville kind of geographically makes more sense in that regard.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have momentum already on Nashville, I think, is going to work in their favor.
Yeah, and and again with the realignments too, man. It's I'm trying to think of it in NFL terms. Like, would we want the Jets and Giants to be in the same division? I sure as hell don't. I mean, you're a Jets fan. I'm a Giants fan. I mean, I wouldn't want that personally.
Yeah. And the difference between baseball and football too. Football players, they can play in the snow. Baseball generally does not play. They don't even play in the rain. Okay, when the rain starts coming down too hard, they put the tarp down and everybody sit. Football, you're playing an iceberg. You're playing all this kind of craziness. So it's completely different dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wouldn't want the Jets and Giants in the same division. I wouldn't want the Eagles and Steelers in the same division, right? Like that would, this is how I'm thinking about it, right? I wouldn't want, who are other teams that play in the same, like same state, same that would potentially be in the same division, like I wouldn't want those teams playing together. I wouldn't be cool with it.
Like, I mean, the Orioles and the Nationals make sense. You could ride your bike from one stadium to the next stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and Pittsburgh not that far, Cleveland not that far. So, Ohio's hugs Pennsylvania anyway. So,
they're next to each other. So that I can see. But from a competitive, like geographically, sure, that would be great. But again, is it going to bring a lot of ratings?
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing too. Like, how much ratings are you going to get? The Brewers playing the Blue Jays. That'll probably generate the most rating in the Great Lakes. Tigers and Twins. How much ratings does it generate now? Not really. So, where would the ratings be? And a lot of it's going to be in the Northeast. And like maybe the NL Midwest to a degree. Those are the two probably most top weighted divisions.
NL Midwest, or wouldn't it be? That wouldn't bring, to me, that doesn't interest me personally. I don't like the Sox and Cubs being in the same division. And
the Midwest just has an advantage because they're in the middle of the country. So
right.
If you travel west, it's easier on them.
Yeah. And all those states, obviously, with Illinois, Ohio, Missouri, like they're all very close to each other. So, I mean, again, from a travel standpoint, makes sense. But from a rating standpoint, how much ratings would that bring?
Yeah, I mean, I know Chicago's a larger market, but it's not the same as New York and Philly and Boston. Like, it's not even close. So, but I understand, like, the rivalries of the Midwest, where I get that. Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to the folks in chat. No, I appreciate you all being here. I've been wanting to talk about this for about a week now, and I was just like, I wanted to reach out to you, and I was just like, cool, because I really wanted to get your thoughts on this, and I agree, Stephen B. The whole realignment doesn't make sense. Keep it old school, one in the AL, one in the NL, keep it and be done with it, man. The division's been around 100 years. Like, don't break what's working. Yeah, I agree with that statement, wholeheartedly. I really do, but. Yeah. If you're gonna, and this is the same thing with the rules. Like, if you're gonna add rules, like, make it make sense, man. Because I'm not a big fan of obviously the ghost runner. I'm not a fan of the pitch clock. Okay, I can understand the pitch clock to some degree, but then they also added the throw over to second, or to pick off attempt. You can only throw over twice.
And the third time is what, a balk?
The third time, yeah, the runner takes, if they're on first base, they go to second.
Yeah.
For example, yeah. Now, the only thing I would be in favor of is the ABS system, because these umpires are horrid. These umpires are they're so bad now.
I'm surprised there's not retraining of the umps. Like, I think there should be training, even if it's every year. You do a week boot camp or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Every year, do a week, just refresh, kind of sharpen things up. Right?
Yeah. And CeeLo
you're still gonna have 3 months off.
Say it again.
You're still gonna have 3 months off, so an extra week for the umpire, it's not gonna be a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is true too. See, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Phillies-
CeeLo brings up an excellent point. Like there would never be a Phillies Yankees World Series or Yankees Mets World Series or Yankees Braves World. Like, yeah, it just like imagine not having to ever see that again.
That's a good point, CeeLo. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, Cecilia says I need coffee and it's a mile away in the break room. I'm going to sprint. Hope you're both here when I get back. Hopefully, there, Cecilia. But if not, I know. I'll see you later this afternoon for the pregame play-by-play. So, now Cecilia. So check this out. Cecilia's her grandfather was a Yankees fan.
All right.
So she roots for the Yankees, but she also is a big Dodgers fan too because she lives out in LA.
That's cool.
But so she roots for both. So I'm like, you know what? I can't really hate on that. You root for the Yankees too because of your grandfather. So
Cool. It's all good.
Yeah, all good with me. And CeeLo's right though too. The umps haven't really. They've gotten bad this year, yo. This season is a different story. I don't know what it is, but this season's bad.
I was saying it last night, and they're in the game, right? The Yankees had a 10-0 lead in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
And then was it Aaron Del Santos, right?
Yariel Santos, yeah.
He can't. I thought that walk should have been a strikeout. There were a couple of bad balls and strike calls there that he should have gotten out of the inning. But to his not excusing him, he should have been a little bit closer to the plate too. But
sure.
Then it led to the grand slam given up by Mark Leiter, which 4 of those runs are De Los Santos's. But nevertheless, I think that umpire was most apparent to me as being not that great yesterday, and it happened in the 9th inning. I was just eyeballing it the whole inning. It was like, why are you not calling this stuff a strike? I don't understand. You're calling it a strike on the other team. Why the hell are you not calling a strike for us? I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of inconsistency with the umpires all around, man. It's just like, 100%. Yeah. So I hate bringing in like technological stuff and whatnot, but I think it needs to happen, man. Unfortunately, it pains me to say that, but I think the ABS system is necessary.
Yeah.
I like the review. Like you could challenge a play. I mean, that's cool. Because we've seen in the past on how umpires have gotten a call so wrong. They were absolutely wrong before, when reviews were not available for a while. So I'm glad that you can challenge.
Same.
Yeah, I'm glad you could challenge because some plays absolutely need to be challenged and need to be, and you've seen umpires get calls wrong. It happens.
The worst call I've ever seen in my life was when the guy from the Tigers lost the perfect game.
Yeah.
He was out.
Oh God. Yeah, that one.
Safe.
They wanted the umpire's head in that one.
Oh. I don't blame him. I can't. You ruined that guy's moment, man. He had a perfect game.
Yeah.
Like, that's messed up, man.
Yeah, that was completely jacked up.
Yeah.
But for the realignment, it needs work. Yeah. It needs work. I'm not. I don't know if that was just like a rough draft or whatnot. I don't know if that was really like, here's what we're, this is what we're really thinking. But here's an idea. Maybe it's just an idea. But if that's what they're proposing, if that is the Rob Manfred proposal, it needs work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are some good parts to it, but I don't think it should be the finished product.
No, and the travel again. Like I know you mentioned the travel. I get the travel part, but I'm thinking ratings. Because you're trying to draw fans, you're trying to get fans to watch the game, right? You're because we keep hearing how viewership is down, although then I don't know if viewership was down last year. I don't know if it was up. I don't remember, but I remember a couple of years ago they said, "Oh, MLB viewership is down." Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking from a ratings perspective, and if they're trying to make money, if they're trying to get revenue, some of those divisions that are realigned and some of those games, I don't know. It wouldn't catch my eye. I wouldn't tune into some of those games. I could tell you that.
Yeah, same here.
Same
here. And I understand it's harder for people to tune in when East Coast teams go west. I get it. Mm-hmm. Hours earlier. I get it. So that's something that needs to be worked on as well. If they can figure out more afternoon games on the West Coast instead of more late night games on the West Coast, maybe that's a thing. right? Because people can at least tune in at work on the radio, something like that. Again, you can't tune in when you're sleeping. Maybe that's a thing they could consider.
Yeah, I remember living on the East Coast and some of those games starting at 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I'm not staying up. You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't able to really. I mean, back then I was a kid, so I had school. I had to wake up in the next morning. So there was no way I was going to wake up to or stay awake to watch these guys. So, but yeah, man. But
I appreciate the effort to try to put forth a proposal like this, and
sure.
I appreciate some of the things they try and do. They want to protect some players, protect ratings, and at the end of the day, it's going to be mostly about money, right?
It is 100%. It's always going to be money.
Yeah, more revenue into the game, but can you do it without compromising the integrity of the game? Is my question. Can you bring more money without diluting the game, without making it less lovable, right? Can you do that?
Yeah, and I wonder. You got to wonder too, because I'm sure a lot of the older fan base probably wouldn't like this realignment. You got to wonder what the younger fan base thinks about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they trying to do this for the younger fan base? Is that what's going on? I mean, I don't think so, but got to wonder how the younger fan base feels about this. Because me, I'm a little bit more on the old school part. I think you should just keep everything the same. I get sometimes change is good, but if you're going to change things up, man, you gotta. It has to make sense.
Yeah. If you do 8 divisions and only one team makes it from each one,
yeah,
3 really good teams from a division are going to get hosed. That sucks.
Yeah. So, imagine one of those big teams not making it.
And could you imagine? Let's just say the Yankees, the Phillies, and the Red Sox, the Mets win the division, right? But all the other teams in the division won more games than any division winner on the other ones, but they don't get to go to the playoffs. Now, how do you explain that one?
Yeah.
How do you explain it? I sure as hell wouldn't want to explain it. Yeah, well, we wanted to have balance. What balance are you talking about? Nobody watches these teams. So what balance are you talking about? Right? So that's what I want the powers that be to answer questions. Just like I want analytics, Mike Fisherman to be in the damn post-game press conferences with Aaron Boone. Let him answer the questions that Boone should not have to answer. Put your ass in the hot seat. Answer these questions.
Yeah, and that's definitely a what do you call it? Definitely a conversation for a different stream. No doubt about it. I mean, I'm in agreement with you on that one. But
powers that be, you have to be able to explain why 3 good teams in a division are not going to make the postseason. Like, I understand you can't make everybody happy. I get that, but that's a lot. You're going to be alienating 3 large fan bases. That's a tough discussion, a tough explanation to put. I wouldn't want to be the one explaining that.
Nope. Mm-hmm. I'm good. You don't pay me enough.
That one out.
Yeah, that one's stressful. That's too stressful for me.
Get that, man.
And buddy.
The Hornets, you're gonna have them just poking you everywhere. Heck no.
Definitely.
They're gonna have to be prepared to answer those types of questions, right? And maybe Rob Manfred can get this done as part of his legacy, and they can run off into the sunset, so he'll never have to explain it. They'll leave it to the next commissioner to have to explain this, right? That could be another thing I'm thinking of on the back end too. Let this be my legacy. I'm going to run off into the sunset.
Yeah, these next 5 years, man. I mean, we're in 2025. I mean, these next 5 years are going to be really interesting because the CBA is coming up, right? So, you got to wonder what that's going to look like. And the other question that's been being asked or the thing that's been being discussed is there going to be another strike? Because there's a lot of people that are saying that there's probably going to be another strike in baseball. So yeah, I mean these next 5 years are going to be very interesting with the new rules. If there is going to be a realignment, with the ABS system, right? The ABS system, that's going to come into play. That's a definite. That's going to happen because they tried it out at the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they had it in spring training. So that's going to get implemented at some point. I think probably next year is what they're saying. But gotta wonder, man, what else is gonna happen in Major League Baseball? What other things are gonna try and implement? These next 5 years are gonna be telling. Manfred's not gonna be the commissioner. What, after 26 or 27?
After 26.
After 26, then who's gonna be the commissioner after that? I know Epstein's name has been mentioned, so he might be in the running for it. Could be him, or it could be somebody else that we're not thinking of. But man,
it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years. And again, it's the Soto contract and Ohtani contract that are paving the way for $500 million to Vlad,
$100
million to Kyle Tucker.
Yeah,
this is what expansion is going to do. Also, it's going to create wanting more contracts at that level, right? So that's just another thing that's important to be factored in too. And again, who are they going to be? What teams are going to be the ones that are going to put forth those contracts? Probably not the expansion teams, right?
No way.
Same teams all the time, and you're gonna pack teams with superstars and leave 3 of those teams out of the postseason. Try explaining that one.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk. Yeah, lots to talk. I mean, plenty more to talk about. I mean,
that's just a knuckle sandwich conversation all day.
Yeah.
God,
that would be hours long. I mean, I don't. Yeah, so much. There's so much, man. But yeah, bro. I'm probably gonna wrap it up here though. And again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. For everybody that is tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from, it is greatly appreciated. Jason, once again, I appreciate you taking the time, bro. I know you're a busy guy, bro, so it's always great to have you on. So, but yeah, any final thoughts before we close it out?
I think it's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
I think a representative of baseball, whether it's the commissioner or some of his minions, should be made available to explain what their thought process is and basically why they're evolving from this to this and this to this and so on and so forth. Because I think you want to get the people that follow the game not understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of bad information put out there. You're going to have beat writers who have a narrative. That's their job, to create a narrative, right? To create talking points, to get views and draw attention. So the last thing you want to have is bad information circulating around, especially when it comes to stuff like this. So I do think somebody, whether the commissioner or some of his people, should make themselves available to kind of at least keep everybody checked in at some point. That way, it makes it harder to circulate bad information, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, 100%. And for me, it's just, I'll kind of close it out with this. If a realignment is going to happen, there needs to be work done. There needs to be a realignment to that realignment, right? Like there's still work to do.
Yeah.
It does from a competitive standpoint. Sure, it makes it a little bit more competitive to some degree. Travel, I know you mentioned it, right? We talked about it, right? A few times already. Travel, I get it, but from a ratings perspective, from a revenue perspective, sure, it's like Lou said, it's more money at first, but then it'll wear off. I mean, for me, it'll get old. And, again, just looking at it, if some of those teams were playing each other on nationally televised TV, like Fox or something, I'm not tuning in. Like, depending on who it is, like if it's some of these teams that we're seeing in the realignment, I'm not tuning in personally.
No.
So, I think there needs to be work done. They need to really think about that one, because the proposed realignment, I'm just not down with it. So with what they have, so there's a lot of work to do with that, and hopefully if they are going to do it, hopefully they get it right.
I hope so too, man. And again, I hope everybody's on the same page with it too.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. So
we'll see. Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen, fans. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Absolutely.
We'll keep you all in the loop on everything that happens.
For sure. I know Jason definitely will. And, I try to let you all know during the live streams or whatever, at least, when I do my pre-games or play-by-plays or something, I try to just update you all as soon as I'm back. And Cecilia, she was like, there were bagels right next to the coffee. Sorry, I missed your last points. Nice meeting you, Jason, and see you later.
Pleasure.
Hey, can't go wrong with bagels. So good for you getting bagels.
So from bagels, it's really hard to do.
But folks in the chat, appreciate you all tuning in. Jason, once again, thanks for jumping on with me, bro, to talk about this. This was a fun conversation. Something a little bit of a break from the Yankees.
Yeah.
For now, just talk about something different, because we talk about the Yankees every single day. And as I'm saying, we talk about the Yankees every day. I'm going to be live for the pregame later. I'm also going to be live for the play-by-play later. So I hope to see everybody there for the pregame play-by-play. So, Yankees got the second game coming up against the Nationals, and we'll see what happens tonight with that game. Luis Hill's going to be on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. And we'll see what happens in other Major League Baseball games. There's a lot of great games going on this week, so a lot of great series. But we'll see what happens in those games as well. But yeah, not a lot of games left in me when it comes to there's 35 games left, I think.
31.
Oh, 31. Okay, I'm like,
the Yankees are 71 and 60 or 71 and 60? Let me just confirm here.
Yeah, for sure.
The Yankees are, I'm looking at the standings. The Yankees are 71 and 60, so there's 31 games left.
Okay, 31. Okay, so 31 games left. When you think about it, it's not a lot of games, really. Yeah. It's really not a lot of games. 31 games is not a lot. So it's the regular season slowly winding down. So it's crunch time for all baseball teams that are competing for a postseason spot, whether it's division or wild card. So, but folks in the chat, thank you all once again for tuning in. Make sure you all subscribe to Jason's channel over at 161 River Ave. If you're not subscribed, make sure you all subscribe to the Strike Zone. We're slowly closing in on 2K. I'd love to get there sooner rather than later. And I'll see you all later on. I think, Jason, you're doing a post game, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll do a post game afterward, and hopefully we're celebrating a win. So
yeah. So make sure you all tune in. And thank you all very much. I'll see you all later this afternoon. Make sure you all hit the like, hit that sub. Keep sharing this channel out. Greatly appreciated. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all later this afternoon.
Keep showing NFE some love, everybody. Keep showing NFE that love. Support his channel.
Yeah.
Tell your friends about him, too. For baseball fans. Tell your friends about the Strike Zone, too.
Yeah, and Jason.
Show some love.
So Jason, you're not going to – you'll like his – you'll appreciate his channel. He's got a different mind when it comes to the game. So – and the Yankees, but appreciate you all. See you all later. Have a great day, everyone, and let's go Yankees.
Peace and love. Let's go Yankees. Let's go.